for joining me. So today we're celebrating 250 subscribers to the channel, which is pretty awesome because especially on a wet rainy day like this in England, it's great to know that you guys out there share a common love of the, in particular the Fender Stratocaster, and maybe some of the Dire Straits and Clapton and Pink Floyd stuff that I like to play. So thank you very much indeed for that, and also please continue to spread the word and support the channel. That'd be ace, so thank you. So what I wanted to do in return was share something a little bit different for you today. Rather than talking about maybe my key influences as a guitar player, I thought it might be nice to share one of my recent collaborations, and that is the work I did on the Atlantic Project's Dirty Dollars, which was released earlier this month. A great tune written by the English songwriter Reverb, and I was lucky enough to be able to play the guitar parts on that tune. And so I thought what I'd do today is talk a little bit about the kit that was used on that track, and also as a bit of a bonus, which you're free to watch please if you like to, is a bit of a walkthrough that was recorded subsequently, and that was basically using the guitar and amp that was in the studio at the time, just as a single track run through to the backing track, just so you can sort of see the sort of things that we played on there. I will talk at the end of the video a little bit about the kit that I used, in particular the guitars that I used and the amplifier, so please stay tuned for that part at the end. But as I say, I thought it might be nice just to give you a run through of the track being played this time through the studio's Boss Katana amp rather than the amp that I actually used on the track. But anyway, thanks again for supporting me, I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, then please do, and obviously if you have, thank you very much indeed.
Across the sky, heading in the direction of the big smoke. Wheels turning, people herded off the wire. Daily commute packed so tight it is a joke. 5 stars on a red flag. $30. So we need $30. Who can stop this greed? Tears fall down my face as loved ones lost, they were on their own. Fear of what the future holds. The gun is cocked, is it Russian roulette? 5 stars on a red flag. Silent disease, there is no way back. So desperate to breathe, is it killing you or me? But the world keeps turning, one step humming. $30 passing hand to hand. We'll keep on going till the human cost is counted. This finally stopped across the land. $30, $30. So we need $30. Who can stop this greed?
So what you heard there was a bit of fun really. We'd already recorded the track and we thought it'd be nice just for you guys as a celebratory thing just to see a run through of a guitar part along what was the rest of the track without any guitar in it. So we were using the studio's kit there, and Richard Benham, who owns and runs the studio there at Utopia Studios in Chippenham, England, was very kindly able to lend me his guitar and also the amp, the Boss Katana amp that you heard in that particular rendition of the track. So what I'd like to do now is share with you what I actually used when I recorded the record, so stay tuned and we'll take a closer look at the kit. So let's have a look at the guitar kit used on $30 by the Atlantic Project, written by Ruben Reynolds, and guitar parts recorded and mixed at Utopia Studios by Richard Benham in Chippenham, England. So first up, let's play what's in the box. Well, you can probably tell the astute Fender Strat guys out there will know what this case belongs to specifically, but just in case you didn't, this one is a John Mayer Stratocaster, and there she is. So this one is totally standard spec, haven't touched her at all. In fact, those of you that know me will know I am a bit of a nerd, and I still collect and keep all the original parts in there as well. I'm a bit weird like that. So yeah, she's not one that gets gigged, oddly enough, but for this particular job I couldn't think of a better guitar. This one was used for most of the guitar work, certainly the background guitar and the sort of fills and stuff like that, in pretty much everything except the solo, I believe, and would have been used in position 4. That's the position between the bridge and the middle. The volume would have been pretty much wide open, and tone controls more or less wide open as well, rolled back slightly, and 11 gauge strings. What can I tell you? D'Addario 11s on there, everything standard on there, and yeah, I mean, she's just beautiful. Those big dipper pickups really are the business. They give you that wonderful kind of vintage sound, that very hollow kind of sound, but you've still got the bite and the grunt for that slight bit of overdrive that I wanted on this track. So yeah, fantastic guitar, that one, and just the one I needed for the job. Now, however, for the solo, and this is quite an interesting one, there was nothing actually wrong at all with the Big Dipper pickups. I just wanted something slightly different to break away from the rest of the song. So I used this one. Any guesses? Let's have a look. So here is a Hot Rod Red Mark Knopfler signature Strat, and again, being a nerd, all the accessories are still sealed in the bag in there. It's basically a new guitar, effectively. I used to gig this one very carefully, but I just use her for recording now. Texas special pickups in there, which I am actually a really big fan of. You can see by the big pole pieces and the stagger there, they've kind of got sort of a vintagey sound, but they're really punchy, really got some kind of kick to them. And weirdly, you might say, for a Mark Knopfler Strat, you might wonder why I didn't use the sort of position 4 for the main song, but actually I really just love the Big Dipper sound, so I wanted to use the John Mayer for that. And on the solo, I actually used the neck pickup, which I don't use a great deal on the Knopfler Strat normally, but the Texas Special there in the neck pickup just cut through the mix really nicely. It was fat but still quite warm, and yeah, so that's the Knopfler Strat there. Long since out of production, but I'm delighted that I did manage to get one, being the massive Knopfler fan that I am. This one is quite an early one, 0517, so quite an early serial number. Absolutely immaculate condition. I shan't rub it in to the guy who recorded the guitar parts at Utopia Studios, Richard Benham. He actually owns one of these as well, and his has suffered a bit of road wear now, so I'm kind of rubbing it in that this one's still unmarked. Well, I'll probably drop the camera on it in a minute, and that'll be the end of that. So that's the two guitars that I used. Essentially, this one was for the solo, and the John Mayer one was for the rest of the work. Now onto the pedals. I didn't use most of these pedals, to be fair. I've got a Wazacraft TU3 there that I just used as a tuner. The only ones I really used, I think, was the Paisley drive. Now, I'm a massive fan of Paisley pedals. I've got the Nirvana Chorus, I've got the original single channel Paisley drive elsewhere as well. Massive fan of the build quality of the sound and everything. I also have the spring reverb on my board, which I didn't need for this particular song, which I'll explain in a minute, but I find that the faux spring reverb is as good as you'll find in a pedal if you're looking for that old school vintage sort of reverb sound. I play in my live work, I use a lot of Blackstar Artisan amps and stuff like that, which are fantastic, but they haven't got onboard reverb, so things like this spring reverb really are the business for that. What else? Classic kind of CE2. That's not actually because John Mayer plays one. It's just that I love old school chorus, that vintage sound, and I think that's coming up in my next song. Actually, I should probably be using that. So anyway, back to Dirty Dollars. It was essentially a touch of compression, not very much at all actually on the day, and really it was just the first channel of the Paisley drive. So just to give it a little bit of bite and a bit of crunch. So you can see that the gain, it's a lower output on this channel anyway compared to the hot channel, as it were, and it was just sort of dialed in and blended in just to give me that bit of bite without being too vigorous. So essentially, yeah, that's that. There is an AC2 on there, which I really very rarely used. It's more for mock-ups really. If I'm looking at perhaps putting an acoustic part in somewhere, it's a good way just to mock it up and see how it might sound. But as you can see, that's generally kind of bypassed on the board. I don't normally use it. The wah ditto, that's more for sort of the bluesy stuff. But yeah, I don't use that a massive amount these days. So that's the board. But anyway, the pièce de résistance really for Dirty Dollars was the amp. And so here she is. And that is my 1966 Fender Pro Reverb black face. It's one previous owner. I picked her up a few years ago, and well, you can see she's in fabulous original condition, still running on the old American voltage. So I've got a step-up transformer to run over here in the UK. There's the original foot switch. Everything is pretty much original on there. It was untouched all these years, but SMP Artisan, Stuart Parman actually, who looks after my amps, went through this one and sort of changed some of the caps and stuff, and just made sure that she was modern and safe. But other than that, all the original other circuitry is intact. So she sounds absolutely stunning. You've got that beautiful fat punch, really, but you've also got the warmth. The vibrato channel is just sublime. In fact, if you listen closely on Dirty Dollars, you'll hear the vibrato actually being used on there, just for some gentle chord work in the background. And really, it was just for this, it was fairly straightforward. The EQs, as I always tend to have them, are set more or less at noon. A touch of reverb, as Mark Gagnisi might have said, but yeah, that really is it. Just keep it simple. So the amp was just doing its thing, ticking over on quite a low volume with a bit of vibrato in the background on the clean channel, and then for the lead, it was literally just a case of dropping in a touch of the Paisley drive there from Wampler and a tiny bit of compression. And that was really it. I'm a big fan of not messing too much and putting too much on there. I think the idea with pedals and effects, personally, for the stuff I play, is just to say, you know, to embellish what you're trying to do, just to give it that little je ne sais quoi, you know, rather than just stomping on everything and getting dirt and grit and grime at the end and losing the actual tone. I'm a big fan of pick attack. I play with my fingers, so I don't use a pick very often at all, so I really rely on that kind of original signal and the natural compression in the amp and stuff to give me the feedback that I want from what I'm doing. So there she is. So that's the Dirty Dollars setup, and I'll stop blithering on now, but thanks very much indeed, and I'll pass you back to myself on a stool. I hope you found that interesting. So thanks very much indeed for watching. Please like and share, and continue subscribing if you haven't already. And if you have already subscribed, as I said before, many thanks for your continued support. It is massively appreciated. I'm doing some more collaborations in the very near future. I've got more work coming up with the Atlantic project to be discussed in a future video, and various other collaborations that we have to keep stum at the moment, but suffice it to say, we've got some really exciting stuff coming up. So yeah, I'll see you soon, and thanks very much indeed again.